Andy's also been someone who's been with us for, I guess, the duration since we sort of
Last spring.
came together. Yeah, it feels like it's a lifetime, Andy.
Yeah.
You know, this is a guy who was involved with Move On and, you know, was a flag waver, I think probably out of the birth canal. And he found his way to us, and I was just so grateful because his level of enthusiasm and knowledge and, you know, wanting to just contribute to a really good thing that he believed in was so, it was like this energetic, you know, thing. And I believe that, not for anything, it's that energy current that inspires other people, not for nothing. I was told early on when we were starting this thing not to be disappointed if nobody ever came. You know, the Jersey City wasn't like that. They don't actually sort of come to these things. And that it was and the word that kept coming up was a balkanized place, which is, you know, kind of interesting to me. And, you know, again, like I said before, I lived here for 20 years, but, you know, I'm just looking for people who really want to partner. And Andy is someone who is just like, he stands up for that. So I'm really happy to introduce him tonight because I'm sure he has a couple of good things to say.
Thank you. All right. We can get some hand claps. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. To be honest, I didn't do crap for like 30 years. Then I had kids, and then I said, wow, you know, I didn't know, I moved to Jersey City and, you know, walked from my house to the PATH train to Manhattan and knew everything that was along that path and rarely went on a different block even. So, but then having kids is like, well, we have to find places for daycare and find preschools and all this kind of stuff. And then I started volunteering for a whole bunch of things. So I thank my kids, one of whom is here. Artie is my middle guy, 16 now. So that got me on a roll. And now they're old enough that I can do stuff that's not kid related. What I learned about my community from Hurricane Sandy. Some people retreat into themselves. Some leave, some kind of have to leave because their house is gone. This is too low. But some become more friendly. I was one of the more friendly ones. Like, wow, you know, now I can walk down the street and I have an excuse to say hi to people. Yeah, thanks. So I went around saying hi to people and reminding them to vote. And then as I was wandering around, I found the Jersey City Sandy Recovery folks, which I'll tell you a little bit about. And then some people ask for things that they don't need. It's like, well, you know, oh, my life is terrible, and oh, maybe can you help me, and they ask for all this stuff, and maybe they really just want some human contact, which is important. But there's a lot of people that don't actually ask for anything when they need it. A lot of really desperate people were just like staying in their homes, not knowing what to do. They were sick, or they were pregnant, or whatever, and it was really great that the people were going door to door and finding those people. A lot of people in high rises. There was no power in high rises, means no elevators. So people on the 12th floor, they weren't getting out unless they could walk down 12 flights of stairs. But the thing that really bothered me was that people weren't leaving their homes because they were afraid that if they left their home, people would break in and take whatever else they had. And so people wanted to be able to help themselves. They wanted to be able to go and get gas. They wanted to be able to get food, go and get medical attention, go and buy clothes and blankets because they had no heat, but they didn't dare leave their apartment. So what that, you know, that's a, you know, kind of desperate reality of a lot of neighborhoods, even, you know, downtown where I am. And I thought of a solution for that, which is, if everybody can like talk to each other on their own block, then they can say, all right, let's get 5 people, and they can go out and get stuff for everybody and bring it back, or we can take turns, and the other people can keep an eye on each other's apartments until they get back. So I'm hoping that I can kind of push that idea. And I don't know, we don't want necessarily the government to get involved with it, but the concept of having like a neighborhood watch or a block deputy, someone that you can go to, you know, the guy that's been there for 20 years, you know he's going to be there for another 20 years, and you say, well, he's the guy to go to. Or she, sorry. And, you know, he'll be able to knock on people's doors and not be a stranger, and say, look, we're going to be out of power for a while. Here are some things that we should do, and let's work together and get it done. Anyways, so think about that. I call that block deputies. And if you guys work in any corporate buildings, I work in a building in Manhattan. They have fire wardens. They have floor wardens, right? It's the guy that's supposed to. They have one man, one woman that goes around and checks the bathrooms when there's a fire drill or somebody pulls a fire alarm. Make sure everybody's out of the offices and stuff like that. So, you know, it's kind of one of those jobs that you don't really have a job until there's an emergency. But I think it's a cool thing to kind of push throughout the city. And the last thing I wanted to mention is that I talked to a real estate agent, and he said, yeah, I'm spending all my time finding new apartments for people, and nobody's going to want to live in a ground floor apartment downtown anymore. It's like all that real estate is now pretty much gone. It's like, yeah, people, you know, after a few months or a few years, people may forget and they'll start moving in again. But think about all the people, all the landlords, all the building owners that own buildings that have ground floor apartments where they've been getting $1,000, $1,200 rent, and now they're not going to be getting that money anymore. And you add up all that money, that's what's been taken away from the coffers of Jersey City, right? And the people in Jersey City. And then you compare that to putting up some green infrastructure, putting up some rooftop green roofs, swales along all the green infrastructure stuff this group has been talking about. That's you know, a lot cheaper than losing all this valuable real estate. So I think it's a really good way that we can kind of push the whole green infrastructure conversation. I did volunteer a little bit with Jersey City Sandy Recovery. They met on the steps of City Hall 2 Fridays ago. They just were created 2 Fridays ago, and they got hundreds of people to help them. They got somebody set up a what do you call that? A wedding registry on Amazon. And people from all over the country and from other countries too have contributed $100,000 purchased $100,000 of things, of stuff, batteries, flashlights, blankets, coats. They all came to the Barrow Mansion, they all got distributed out. So, I mean, and that's just one measurement, because they had stuff coming from all sorts of sources. People were coming from Tennessee, Pennsylvania, driving truckloads of stuff here. And obviously not just in Jersey City, but everybody was coming to New Jersey and helping us out. And I think that's a really great thing. To kind of update you on, the place is called Jersey City Sandy Recovery on Facebook. They have a website, which is jcnjrecovery.org. They're moving out of the clothing and blankets and batteries and stuff, that mode. It's amazing how many places there are in Jersey City that do that, that I didn't know about. But if you go either on our website or on the on Facebook, you can see the lists of places where you can donate, and they're probably, you know, a couple blocks from your place. And they're all up and running now. You know, it took a while for everybody to kind of get organized, but they are organized now, and they're looking for these donations. So this stuff is definitely going to get used. But if you didn't bring something here and you're thinking about it, this is a good place to find out where you can do it and how you can do it. What Jersey City Sandy Recovery is focused on now is keeping in contact with all the people they met. I don't know what the numbers are, but a few hundred, maybe 1,000 names are on their list now. The people that lost things during the storm, and they're making sure that they get to FEMA, they get the city services they need. So if you like being on the phone, they definitely need people to make phone calls. Still need drivers to drive things to people. So if you have some time to help out, many hands make light work. And that's what I learned from Sandy. So thank you, Sandy.